Yesterday, YouTube essentially fired, a massive portion of its amateur creator base, and they didn't even send a single pink slip.
Yeah, it's wild.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. It is August 11, 2026, and, well, we are unpacking an absolute bombshell that dropped just 24 hours ago.
A literal shockwave.
Right. So our mission today is to decode this shockwave because it fundamentally rewrites the rules of the internet's biggest video platform for, you and everyone else who uses it. YouTube just announced they are doubling their key monetization entry requirements.
Doubling them, which is just massive.
Exactly. We are looking at a stack of sources today. We've got articles from Forbes, Engadget, URBTNews, right alongside YouTube's official August 10th policy update. And honestly, they are painting a picture of a platform that is just pulling the ladder up on beginners.
Yeah, they really are.
For you listening, this is the definitive end of the hobbyist era of YouTube. The Wild West phase is, well, it's officially closed for business.
It really is.
Yeah.
The structural changes we are looking at are staggering. Whether you create videos in your living room or, just consume them on your commute.
Right.
Or even if you just study the economics of digital platforms, the entry fee to participate in the creator economy just surged.
Big time.
And the implications, they ripple out to how modern internet culture is going to be funded, produced, and ultimately served to you on a platter over the next decade.
Okay, let's unpack this, because before we can understand the strategy behind slamming the door on the hobbyist era, we really need to look at the raw mechanics of the new YouTube Partner Program rules.
The new math, basically.
Right, the new math. So these go into effect on February 1st, 2027. The baseline subscriber minimum, well, that stays at 1,000 subscribers.
Okay, so that part hasn't changed.
Yeah, getting people to actually click the subscribe button remains untouched. The earthquake, though, is in the watch time.
Right.
The public watch hours requirement is doubling from 4,000 to a towering 8,000 hours within a rolling 365-day window.
Yeah, and to really grasp the gravity of that number, let's do the math on 8,000 hours.
Please do.
That equates to 480,000 minutes of human attention.
Oh my gosh.
Right. That a creator must capture and hold within a single year. If you are a solo creator putting out, say, 10-minute videos, and you somehow manage an incredibly healthy average view duration, like 5 minutes per viewer.
Which is hard to do.
It is. You still need nearly 100,000 people to sit through your content every single year just to qualify to make your first penny from ad revenue.
Wow. That is just a mountain to climb for someone doing this on weekends. And, it gets steeper.
Oh, yeah.
For creators relying on short-form content, the YouTube Shorts threshold is doubling too. It's going from 10 million valid views to 20 million valid views within a 90-day window.
And there is a highly specific maintenance clause buried in that August 10th policy update that, well, it drastically changes the day-to-day reality for short-form creators.
Wait, really? What do you mean?
So hitting 20 million views once gets you into the program. But to keep your Shorts ad revenue flowing, you are legally required by the new terms to maintain a baseline of 10 million views every rolling 90 days.
I have to pause on that because that completely changes the psychological dynamic of content creation.
It totally does.
You cross the finish line, but there's no trophy, just like a treadmill that speeds up. You're locked into a perpetual sprint. It's like a local club just doubled its cover charge overnight.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. If you're already inside, the drinks are flowing, but if you're out in the cold, the bouncer just got twice as strict.
Exactly. And the mechanism here is brilliant from a corporate standpoint. If a creator's channel cools off, and dips below that 10 million maintenance threshold, YouTube doesn't kick them out of the partner program entirely.
Oh, they don't?
No, their general standing remains intact. However, the system automatically pauses all short-form ad payouts until the creator's metrics recover.
Man, it reminds me of the traditional television syndication model.
Yeah.
It's like a major network buying a pilot episode. YouTube might give you a shot if you have one viral short, but they are absolutely refusing to invest ad dollars in your show unless you can prove that you can deliver a reliable, highly rated 22-episode season year after year.
The television comparison is incredibly apt.
Oh,
YouTube is demanding structural reliability over viral luck.
And then just imagine trying to pull those numbers as a one-person operation.
Oh, I can't even.
Filming, editing, doing the graphic design for thumbnails, managing the community comments, and desperately trying to convince the algorithm to feed your videos to a wider audience just to hit 500,000 minutes of watch time.
Yeah, the sheer stamina required weeds out anyone who treats this as just a fun side project.
Definitely.
Which brings a massive question to the surface, right? Why build this wall now? The platform is already dominant.
Right. Why mess with it?
To understand the underlying logic, we have to look at the scale YouTube is currently operating at. The ecosystem we are dealing with today barely resembles the platform from even like 4 or 5 years ago.
That's true.
According to the data across these reports, YouTube is currently processing over 200 billion daily views on Shorts.
200 billion every single day. I mean, the infrastructure required to serve that much video, let alone monetize it and police it for copyright, is just incomprehensible.
It is literally the largest media distribution apparatus in human history. And it's not just mobile devices driving this anymore.
Really?
No. Viewers globally are consuming over 1 billion hours of YouTube content on actual television screens every day.
That is insane.
And add to that the fact that there are over 3 million creators already participating in the YouTube Partner Program.
That 1 billion hours on living room TVs, that feels like the smoking gun here. People are no longer just hunched over a laptop watching shaky vlog footage.
Exactly.
They're pulling up the YouTube app on a 65-inch OLED screen, sitting on their couch, and they're expecting the same visual fidelity and narrative pacing that they get from Netflix or HBO.
Yet, the platform's entire strategic posture has shifted to reflect that living room behavior. Think back to 2018. That was the last time YouTube executed a structural overhaul of their monetization framework. The original introduction of the 1,000 subscriber and 4,000 hour rule.
Right, I remember that.
The context of 2018 was pure defense. Advertisers were fleeing the platform because their premium ads were rolling in front of highly controversial, unvetted amateur content.
Oh, the era of the adpocalypse.
Exactly.
They were just trying to stop the bleeding.
Right. YouTube instituted those initial hurdles simply to build a fence around a brand-safe playground for advertisers. But today's update, however, is a calculated offensive strike.
Interesting.
YouTube is aggressively managing its transition away from being an open-ended archive, a place where, anyone can upload a chaotic video just to see if the internet algorithm catches it.
Right.
They're cementing their status as a highly structured television-grade entertainment network. Advertisers aren't fleeing anymore, they're lining up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And YouTube wants to guarantee those advertisers that their multi-million-dollar ad buys are being placed alongside sustainable, repeatable premium content, not like a random 15-second meme that happened to spike on a Tuesday.
I understand the corporate logic, but I mean, doesn't this aggressively kill the original magic of the platform?
Some would say yes.
Because the entire brand identity used to be broadcast yourself. The appeal of YouTube was that it wasn't a sterile cable network. It was weird, it was experimental, it was rough around the edges.
It definitely was.
So if they are demanding TV-grade retention and punishing the chaotic small creators who just want to experiment, aren't they just draining the soul out of the platform?
Well, they are actively choosing to sacrifice that experimental, chaotic energy in favor of premium predictability.
Wow.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, these algorithmic and policy shifts aren't just technical tweaks. They are the definitive markers of cultural shifts.
Yeah.
One of our sources, URBTNews, made a really striking comparison to illustrate this. They likened this moment to the recent passing of former First Lady Rosalind Carter at age 96.
Wait, that is quite the pivot. How does a legacy political figure tie into digital ad revenue?
I know it sounds weird, but the author's point was about the psychology of historical epochs. When a significant century-spanning figure passes away, it forces a culture to look back and formally acknowledge that a specific chapter of history is closed forever.
Oh, I see.
We mourn the passing of an era. The source is arguing that August 10th functions the exact same way for digital media. It is the formal, undeniable death of the scrappy internet.
The mourning period for the old internet. That makes total sense when you frame it as a psychological boundary line rather than, a literal comparison.
Yeah, exactly.
We are officially in the corporate broadcasting era now, so if YouTube is pulling up the drawbridge to protect this premium television environment, who gets locked outside the castle? I mean, the burden here clearly isn't distributed equally.
Definitely not. The consensus across the analytical sources is that this falls disproportionately on independent voices, minority-owned channels, and solo creators operating without venture capital or deep production budgets.
That's rough.
Hitting 8,000 watch hours demands a highly professionalized approach from your very first upload. You can no longer afford a learning curve.
Yeah, the days of turning on a webcam, rambling for 10 minutes, and slowly finding your voice over 3 years, those are gone.
Long gone.
If you aren't optimizing for high retention, structural pacing, and episodic hooks immediately, the algorithm will completely starve you of the impressions needed to reach that 8,000-hour mark.
Right. And the media coverage is sharply divided on the long-term impact of this squeeze. Engadget takes a very critical stance, warning that these adjustments make the platform fundamentally unviable for beginners.
Okay.
They argue that by setting the baseline so high, YouTube is stifling the next generation of creative talent before they even get a chance to monetize and reinvest in their own gear.
I can see that.
But then you have Forbes, who analyzed the financial data and pointed out a massive counter-narrative. The overall revenue pool on YouTube is currently sitting at historic, unprecedented highs.
And YouTube actually backed up that Forbes analysis in their official statement, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
They explicitly guaranteed that this update won't negatively impact creators who are already grandfathered into the program. Furthermore, they went on record projecting that they will pay out more total money to creators in 2027 than they did in 2026.
Right. And what's fascinating here is the economic reality behind that projection. By narrowing the top of the funnel and restricting who gets into the program, YouTube is heavily consolidating those record-breaking ad revenues and distributing them to the established players.
So the rich get richer.
Exactly. And it's a massive reward for the incumbent class of creators. For an emerging, unrepresented voice trying to break in and access that growing pool of wealth, well, raw talent is no longer enough. The sources emphasize that success now requires mastering what they call story facilitation.
Story facilitation. Okay, how does that actually manifest on the platform? Like, give me a concrete example of the difference between an old school video and a video built on story facilitation.
Sure. So an old school approach would be a creator uploading a standalone tutorial on, say, how to bake a chocolate cake.
Okay.
They get search traffic.
Yeah.
A viewer gets the recipe and the viewer leaves. That is transactional.
Right.
Story facilitation, which is rooted in advanced audience development, requires turning that same concept into an ongoing narrative arc.
Interesting.
So the creator announces they are spending the next 30 days trying to recreate a lost 100-year-old family recipe from scratch, and they explicitly invite the audience into the process, asking them to vote on ingredients in the community tab.
So they aren't just broadcasting information, they are engineering a reason for the viewer to emotionally invest in the outcome.
Yes.
They are manufacturing a community that feels compelled to subscribe just to see the season finale of the cake recipe.
Precisely. You are facilitating a narrative that naturally demands recurring viewership. That is the only reliable mathematical path to hitting 480,000 minutes of watch time without relying on algorithm lottery tickets.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. We are looking at a glaring paradox here.
Yeah.
YouTube, as a corporation, is wealthier than it has ever been. The advertising budgets flowing into the platform are just astronomical, yet at the exact moment they have the most money to distribute, they are drastically raising the cost of admission.
Right.
It feels inherently contradictory, but when you look at the mechanics, it's a brilliant filtering system. They aren't eliminating the opportunity to get rich on YouTube. They are simply demanding a rigorous professional business mindset from day one.
Oh, absolutely.
They are effectively saying, you know, we have millions to pay you, but you have to prove you can operate a television studio before we cut the first check.
And that paradox forces a complete structural rethink for anyone trying to build a modern media company on the internet. You can no longer rely on the fleeting dopamine hit of a viral moment.
No.
A creator could get lucky and pull 2 million views on a 15-second short, and under this new math, it barely moves the needle toward that 20 million requirement. Sustained, methodical audience retention is the only metric that matters.
So let's talk strategy. If the barrier is now 8,000 hours and the algorithmic bouncer is checking IDs with zero leniency, what is the actual playbook for survival?
Right.
If someone listening is sitting on a channel with like 700 subscribers and they're staring down the barrel of this February 1st, 2027 deadline, how do they navigate this? Because the sources actually lay out a very clear timeline.
They do. The most urgent takeaway for anyone currently building an audience is to exploit the first mover advantage while the window is still cracked open.
Get in while you can.
Exactly. Existing partners of the program are going to be grandfathered in. That means if a creator is currently approaching the old threshold of 4,000 watch hours, the months leading up to February 1st are critical.
It is an all-out sprint to cross the old finish line before YouTube picks it up and moves it twice as far away.
Creators need to maximize their output immediately. The tactical advice heavily focuses on the micromechanics of retention.
Like what?
Well, Creators must ruthlessly A/B test their video thumbnails to boost initial click-through rates. They need to tighten their editing, cutting out any dead air or meandering intros to extend the average view duration of every single video.
What about the interplay between shorts and long form? Because, I mean, millions of shorts views won't help you hit that 4,000-hour long form threshold if the viewers just keep swiping.
That is the most vital tactic. The playbook demands effectively funneling short-form attention into long-form investment. You cannot just drop a link in the description and hope for the best.
Right, no one clicks those.
Exactly. A creator must use a short as a direct cliffhanger, for example, testing 3 different tech gadgets in a fast-paced 30-second video, but reserving the final, surprising verdict exclusively for the 15-minute long-form video linked directly on the screen. You use the short as a billboard for the long-form product.
Oh, that's smart. But looking past that February deadline, once the new rules are the law of the land, the fundamental business model of being a YouTuber has to shift. Because while the ad revenue barrier doubled, YouTube notably left the side doors open.
They did, yeah. The entry requirements for fan funding, which encompasses direct monetization tools like channel memberships, super chats, and the integrated shopping features remain completely unchanged.
Wow.
Yeah, a creator still only needs 500 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours to unlock those tools.
So basically, YouTube is saying you can't rely on our corporate ad partners to cut you a check anymore. You have to use our video infrastructure to convince your viewers to open their own wallets and pay you directly.
That is the new economic reality of digital media. Passive ad revenues transitioning into a luxury perk reserved exclusively for the top-tier television-grade creators. Everyone else, the new middle class of independent video producers, must build their entire business model on direct fan support, exclusive digital merchandise, and direct brand sponsorships from day one. You have to view your viewers not as an audience for advertisers, but as direct customers for your own business.
So what does this all mean? If we step back and look at the whole board, this August 10th policy update is the invisible hand that will guide everything you watch online for the next decade.
It really is.
If you are an aspiring creator, it's a wake-up call to treat your camera like a startup company. And if you are just a viewer wondering why your favorite niche creators are suddenly launching Patreon accounts, pushing premium Discord access, or integrating heavily scripted multi-episode narratives into their content, well, this math is why. YouTube changed the physics of the platform, and the creators are just trying to survive gravity.
This raises an important question about the long-term balance of power on the internet, specifically regarding who truly owns the audience relationship.
Yeah, who does?
The creators who survive this purge will be the ones who successfully train their viewers to support them directly, outside of the traditional ad break structure.
Because if you build a business model that relies on selling your own merchandise or fan subscriptions, you suddenly aren't entirely reliant on the whims of a corporate algorithm.
Exactly the point. If the next generation of video entrepreneurs is forced by these very rules to build robust, direct fan funding models, simply because YouTube's ad revenue is out of reach for their first few years, what role does YouTube ultimately play?
That's a great question.
Do they risk accidentally turning themselves into nothing more than a top-of-funnel marketing tool? Once a smart creator successfully captures an audience, earns their direct financial support, and no longer needs a fraction of a cent per view from a pre-roll ad, the dynamic flips.
Why would they stay? If you have 10,000 people willing to pay you $5 a month directly, you don't need to play the 8,000-hour retention game.
Not at all.
You could pack up that highly loyal, directly monetized community and move them completely off the platform to an independent app or a private ecosystem where YouTube doesn't get to take a 30% cut of your hard work.
Right.
By making the club so incredibly hard to get into, YouTube might inadvertently force the most resilient creators to realize they can just build their own clubs. It's definitely something to chew on the next time you click subscribe and realize the intense business machinery operating behind that single click.